Here's an inconvenient truth. Going flawless is insanely difficult. If you're someone who's clicked on this video thinking I'll be able to give you a magical solution to going flawless, there isn't. Short of being carried by one of the hundreds of streamers on Twitch offering their services, going flawless is not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be a handout, unlike the majority of PvE. Trials is a pinnacle PvP activity, the one we've been missing all this time. You can't just hop in with meta weapons and expect to be good. You need to actively put in some time into getting better. You need to be dedicated. You need the right team, the right mentality, the right team builds. If you have no desire to commit to improvement, you don't deserve to go flawless. If you do have the desire to commit, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Ascended Nomad, and I'm your Crucible Doctor. This video is the final one of 6 of a collaboration with BRAVEXHERO for making a series of guides for Trials of Osiris. If you're seeing this video on my channel, the link to his channel is below that like button. Be sure to subscribe to his channel for great build advice, excellent tips and tricks, and, on occasion, something completely different. If you're seeing this video on BRAVEXHERO's channel, hello! Nice to see you again. I sincerely hope that both of our audiences have enjoyed the content we've put out, and that you've learned something in the process. Let's go out with a bang. To start, allow me to rationalize my opening tirade. There's a lot of similarities with going flawless to completing a raid for the first time. With a raid, you must be a high enough light level. You need to spec yourself appropriately with the right builds and loadouts. You must learn the encounter mechanics, and you need to have the right temperament to learn, adapt, and try again. You are also at the utter mercy of the competence of your team. You have to stick with them, work with them, and pick them up when they're down, or do your best to pick up their slack. Raids are difficult content. It may not seem like that now in Season 10 when the last raid was 2 seasons ago and everyone is now grossly overleveled and well versed, but come new raid time, they're the hottest content in the game, the activity that the many will try but the few will get through. You can't hope to participate in a raid successfully without meeting the minimum requirements. There's a recommended light level, there's a few loadouts that you may need to swap back and forth between, you'll have to adapt and improvise on the fly, you'll have to communicate with your fire team, and you'll have to work hard and work together. Does this sound familiar? Luckily for you, Trials is a much simpler prospect. Kill or be killed. No ifs, ands, or buts. The mechanics are simple and the amount of variables are low. It's the execution that matters. And in order to execute better than the other team, there's some hard truths that you're just going to have to accept. I've said this before in other videos, but there's no point in worrying about the variables that you can't control. You can only worry about the things that are in your control. Those things are you and your team. Let's start with you first, you absolute menace. In order to go flawless, here's what you need to have. Number 1, pretty good aim and good gun skill. You need to hit your shots. This is the most important thing out of anything. I don't think I have to explain more than that. You need to win your ones. Number 2, good movement. You might not have functional legs in the real world, but you certainly do in game and you need to use them. You need to be able to engage and disengage quickly, slide around corners and pre-aim them before you do. You need to know the map so you know the most efficient paths to get from A to B, whether it's to trap a target, perform a flank, or purely to survive. Number 3, game sense. Really good game sense. Mind you, there's not a lot that goes into this one. Play with your team, push the advantage when you can, rotate accordingly. If you're a man down or even the last man standing, establish distance from your attackers and do your best to even the playing field in order to play for revives. And read your radar. Number 4, communicate to the best of your abilities. I know that comms are hard, but you have to learn how to get good at them. I recently made a video on this specifically for Trials to help you out. For some of you, especially those with social anxiety or medical reasons for not being able to speak, this is near impossible. But you can message each other and talk after games to gain that crucial understanding of your teammates that you need in order to play with any kind of synchronicity. Number 5, a cool head. The flawless mentality is one about persistence, perseverance, and acceptance. Try your hardest, but don't let unfortunate outcomes get you down. Play for the team, not just for yourself. Again, I have another video on this topic in the cards above. Number 6. A couple of loadouts. You might need to snipe, shotgun, or teamfire. You might need to counter that Suros with a Suros of your own. You need to be proficient at multiple playstyles in order to adapt to any and all challenges, especially for those later stages of the card when you're going up against the better teams out there. Notice how I put loadouts last? I'd argue it's the least important part of going flawless, especially in this sandbox, which is more varied and viable than I've ever seen it before. And before you complain about Hardlight, which isn't a problem by the way, shout out to Juski for his excellent breakdown on the weapon, consider the real problem, which is you running into open spaces and not using cover effectively or disengaging and rotating out. Now, let's talk about your team. A Trials team is only as good as its weakest link. This isn't necessarily down to individual skill or Trials Report's combat rating, it can also be the systems of the team itself. Not working together, communicating, or responding can be bigger dampeners than someone not being able to land their shots during a particular round. Your team, assuming that you're all of the same relative skill level, needs to be performing admirably in the following departments to go flawless. Number 1. Cohesiveness and Chemistry. You either work well together or you don't go flawless. Now it should be said that team chemistry does take some time to build up. You can check out Brave Hero's videos in the cards above, so don't be surprised if you feel a little off in the first few weekends, like you're not quite there to fight with your teammates. Persist, practice, and problem solve with your team and you'll get better at this. And you have to. It's absolutely key. Number 2. Communications. As much as I want you to start speaking to your teammates, it's equally important to learn when not to speak and to just listen. Take turns in talking and convey urgency respectfully. Avoid trash talk and don't fill your teammates' ears with unnecessary clutter. Number 3. Responsiveness. The best teams in Trials adapt constantly to changing situations like fast rotations from other teams, going a man down, or facing a super on match point. Responsiveness is 25% tactics and 75% communications. You need to be either strategizing or talking at all times, unless it's a 1v3 situation and you or your teammate needs everyone to shut up in order to focus. Number 4. Trust. Trust is essential for good teams to thrive. Trust that your teammate has your back. Trust them to win that 1v1. Trust them to stay alive whilst you flank. Similarly, it can work the other way to your favor as well. Trust them to lose that 1v1. You'll never leave their side. Trust them to react slowly. You'll rotate quickly to assist them if you see them in trouble. Trust is not the belief that certain things will happen. It's a probability metric which empowers you to make decisions quickly. You have to trust your team's strengths and you have to trust their weaknesses to arise when pressed and exposed. Honesty builds trust. And being honest about your own failings as a player can help your team minimize them whilst doing what they can to allow your strengths to shine. Everything I've said up until this point has been pretty focused on you, and I've done my best to not hold back. I believe this subject is best approached from a tough love perspective. It's worked rather well for everyone I've personally coached thus far. The reason I'm like this is because I want you to feel that struggle. I want you to understand it and come to terms with it. Only by struggling through the lowest lows can you start to appreciate the highest of highs. If you commit to improvement, I promise to you that it will be worth your time, and you will come out the other side with your head held very high. That said, I can't in good conscience make this video without mentioning the trial streamers. Again, they are there for you if you need them, and you should definitely consider taking them up on their services. They're fantastic streamers and players in their own right, and in particular I'd recommend you hit up Critical Ape and Kujay on Twitch, linked to their channels below. For guardians with jobs or anyone really who can't devote the time required to get good, there's absolutely no shame in seeking assistance. I'd encourage you to support people doing it out of the goodness of their hearts instead of people who advertise paid services. Don't ever pay for a run. With all those streamers offering carries for free, you're better off spending that money on the Eververse store. But if you have the time, and you have the desire to go flawless, then I hope this video has helped to lay out a path for you to go all the way. You might get it in a week, a month, or even a year from now. As long as you're committed to improve, You'll get there. I maintain that going flawless in trials is insanely difficult, but you're only as good as your commitment to getting better, be that in life or in Destiny 2. That's it for this video, and that's it for this collaboration. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with us through this entire series. Please, please, please follow Brave Hero if you haven't already. He deserves your viewership and your subscription, and he's one of the smartest and kindest guys on YouTube today. If you're on Brave Hero's channel watching this, thank you so much for having me, and I hope I can come back soon. And to both of our audiences, if you like this video, you know what to do. I'm Ascendant Nomad, and I'm your Crucible Doctor. See you at the lighthouse. Cheers.